yes. And something like V, it's been transformational in terms of actually how we've had to go about things, because they're such a cool part of our target audience. Other brands, less so. So we're kind of taking it a step at a time, and V is really being our kind of hero brand when we're really jumping into the world of meeting the needs of Gen Z. So for me, I said, well, what's the three biggest impacts that we've had in terms of meeting the needs of Gen Z? It's really been about a fundamental change in our communication framework, and I'll talk through that in a minute. It's absolutely required us to develop new skill sets. I don't know about you, but most of my senior marketers have never been trained or have any experience in talking to Gen Z before. So, we're all on a bit of a learning curve. And the third one is that you need to get your organisation to be willing to take a leap of faith. My MD from Group, he doesn't get to see all the stuff that I'm doing with talking to Generation C because he's not, even though it is ageless, he's not in that target audience. So he's not feeling it, he's not engaging with all the stuff that we're doing, so I'm continually having to get him to just trust us in terms of what we're going to be doing. So we just flip to the next slide. So this is our new communication framework. So, basically when, 2 years ago, we spent 80% on those top two boxes. 80% on awareness and consideration, TV, outdoor, all that sort of stuff. And 20% on interaction. When I say interactions, we used to go and sponsor and do events and do a lot of cool shit. So we've had to kind of change that now because it's not engaging enough people and it's not having enough depth to it. So now we're more at a model where we're about 50% of our investment is on awareness and consideration, and about 30% on interaction, and about 20% on engagement. So actually it means like I need double the amount of money, but of course I'm not going to get double the amount of money, so it means that we have to change the way we work. And also you kind of go, actually, can't I just sacrifice one for the other? And in reality I can't. Because if I'm not in mass media, I've got so many light users for V that I will lose market share and I will lose sales. So if I'm not keeping it top of mind and keeping V for those light users, and I'm talking millions of consumers, then I'm going to be in the boat. Interaction, this is more about where I can start medium to heavy users, and they're in the hundreds of thousands. And from an engagement perspective, I'm probably talking about the tens of thousands. But for V, it's absolutely critical. 4% of our users actually represent 40% of our sales. So you can bet that I'm going to spend my money on them. Okay, so next chart. So what we decided to do was actually launch a vehicle which we call the People's Republic of V. This is just to kind of give you a sense of what it is. And it's really our vehicle to link the real world with the offline world with the real world. I can't emphasise the importance for us because if it was just online, it wouldn't be doing our job and we wouldn't be reaching the amount of people we need to. It has to be online and linked to offline. But it means that we've had to be really smart and savvy. I've slashed production costs so I'm spending 50% of funds on TVC campaigns now. I've had to find, our media selection and our strategy has to be a really fine art because you have to be selective about how you're spending your money on traditional media so that you can actually free up funds to enable you to engage in new channels. We've broken all the rules of advertising. Even our new TV campaign, you may have seen the monster truck with V. It does not, shock horror, have 5 seconds of brand at the end of it. It doesn't say, V. But actually, I had to have a numerous amount of arguments with our MDs in terms of actually, we're not shoving our brand or our message down to our consumers. Because our goal is actually, we said, we want to start a dialogue. So actually we want our communication to look like a piece of user-generated content. It was launched on YouTube, it was then on our People's Republic of V. It had all the content that stimulated conversations of the actual shoot, of how we actually broke the big monster truck. It's got things about the monster truck, it's including a nationwide tour of people experiencing working and being with the big monster truck. So we've gone from just doing a TV ad to actually doing a dialogue and having a integration is, like it's fundamental. There is a totally new meaning for integration now. So, to Susan's point before, it's no good just to do stuff for digital online. We've just done a tricked out campaign. So actually, we're using texting on Pack. It's got a gaming site. We have got events right through our nation. And so it's totally integrated in every part of the product that we do. It takes a lot more time and complexity to be so integrated. And another challenge for us is about what's our meaningful currency. Like most marketers, I think we said, oh, we're going to have music as our currency. Well, actually, every man and his dog wants to own music, and quite frankly, everybody else has got twice as much money as us. And so it wasn't really a sustainable model. And what's music got to do inherently with the big brand? So our meaningful currency now is actually inherently the consumer's brand promise, which is about the extraordinary things that you can do with your energy. So actually, we have block parties, we have 100k cash drops, we have gaming, we have, it's anything that you can do extraordinary things with your energy. So that's become our currency. And it took us a while to actually get to find out what the right currency for us was. So going on to the second point about developing new skill sets, you have to be brave. The team on B, they are brave, conceptual, flexible marketers who actually, they grow through trial and error. It's a different type of marketer than that we have in the rest of the team, because actually they need to think differently. We've started to actually, we need in-house facilitation so that actually we can actually facilitate conversations with the People's Republic of B. So actually that's a new skill set that we don't have the experience with, and to be honest, we want to get some specialists to do that, not broad-based marketers. We've had to get our experiential partners to lift the game significantly, because they need to be more credible, they need to be more engaging. And then I guess the last point is really about getting your organisation to take that lead. What I would suggest that you do is right at the outset, figure out what tracking you absolutely can get. Because if you start in the right place, it'll enable you to get trust from your organisation. You need to actually explain and take your organisation on a journey that actually things are going to be more organic. We don't have a 12-month plan for the People's Republic of V. What we have is a whole lot of conversations with our consumers, and we change it on month to month, day to day. So it's truly, truly organic, and it's something that big, large corporates like ours aren't used to doing. And we've got to enable, trust. Our management team, our sales department don't necessarily feel everything that we're doing. So if you actually take small chunks, get some trial and error, take some risks, you'll be able to get people to come on a journey with you. One of the things that we actually did is we didn't do any innovation, and we didn't do any TV for 6 months, and we only had the People's Republic of B. We saw our highest call tracking of all time against Red Bull. We've never been cooler than Red Bull before. We saw our brand health measures, all accounts, consideration went up 10%, spontaneous awareness went up more than 10%. This is with our full target audience. So what we actually did is we were brave enough to go, actually, we're going to understand how effective this is for us. It's been a phenomenal success for us, and we wouldn't go back again. So I probably got 105 minutes.